Good morning, good evening, good night, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's your nighttime or right time DJ Music here with another episode of the Chop Shop. And in this episode of the Chop Shop, ladies and gentlemen, we will be reviewing Karmelo Anthony supporters try to get Austin Metcalf family killed again with the third swatting. If you're not familiar with the term swatting, it's when I would imagine, I only took a quick glance at it, but I imagine it's when someone calls 911 and says that either there's a great chance of loss of life or loss of limb or something, and they need to send a heavy police presence. Not saying that the person that they're sending the police presence for there has done anything. They're just hoping that the police do something to the person that's in the house, not giving the correct information. So, again, we're reviewing YouTube and podcast John Matrix, Road Rants, Black and White Sports. My first question to you, sir, how do you know it's Karmelo Anthony supporters? Now, I know I've been around for a minute, so I've seen pretty much technology evolve over time. From the time when cell phones used to be damn near the size of a suitcase, to now they can fit in your damn pocket. Okay? So I know with technology, it's almost damn near impossible, even with a burner phone, to call 911, and 911 can't either pinpoint the location or the person making the call. Especially if the person that made the call is dumb enough to do it on a phone that's under their name. In a lot of cases that we have, America's dumb criminals. So that would be my question to you, sir. Where in the news, or where has a police report, or where is it somewhere that has been put out that the folks that you say that has swatted Austin Metcalf's family's house is a Karmelo Anthony supporter? How do you know that? And see, this is the trouble that I have with a lot of podcasters and content creators. You guys sensationalize things too much. Now, if you look at this content creator, folks, he has a pretty good sized following. And when I looked at this video, it was like, he had posted it maybe 30 minutes. It had like over 3,000 views. Kudos to you. I have no problem with that. But at least when you, what's that they said in the Superman clip? With great responsibility, whatever. So you have a responsibility as a content creator to put out correct information, and also to make sure the information that you put out is unbiased. But from what I heard here, my man, there's nothing about this particular stream that is unbiased, that is not slanted towards you have a dislike for Karmelo Anthony. You believe that he is guilty. Now, by you doing podcasts like this, and you doing streams like this, we got to go to the comment section, because the comment section is how people think about what you just said. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to review this, and then we're going to slide down to the comment section. And I'm going to show you why you should be responsible about what you say and how you say, because words mean things. And as I said in my post there, I disagree with a lot of things you say here, and here's why. So let's get to it, folks.
The main event starts now. Well, Black and White Sports fans, I thought I was actually done talking about Karmelo Anthony, at least until pre-trial motions or anything like that. Not exactly sure when that's going to happen. As you guys know, Karmelo Anthony stabbed Austin Metcalf in the heart at a track meet, and Austin Metcalf died in his brother's arms. Now all of a sudden, guys, this thing has taken a huge racial turn, as Karmelo Anthony's spokesperson really now has played the race card.
Okay, first and foremost, all the real lawyers that I have listened to, all of them are in agreement with one thing. this is a racial case. This is just as racial a case as it was with OJ. As a matter of fact, two of the lawyers said such that was involved in the OJ Simpson case, that there's no way that race will not play a factor in this. So race is going to come from both sides. So we as podcasters, in our summation, especially when you say race has no play, has no play in this, it absolutely does.
I mean, he invoked the name of Kyle Rittenhouse and Daniel Pinham. I don't know who Daniel Pinham is. I know who Daniel Penny is. That's who he actually meant. But Dominic Alexander, man, didn't know the facts about anything. And then we find out that Karmelo Anthony has now left his home. He is now in an undisclosed location because of quote-unquote threats.
What do you mean, sir, quote-unquote? You don't think that the Karmelo Anthony family has gotten threats? You don't think that those folks have received nasty grams or even worse since this incident? So it's not quote unquote. But let's continue. Y'all listen to what he has to say here.
So they moved in for his safety. However, Karmelo Anthony was already living in a gated community. It probably doesn't get much safe than that.
Okay, so my man, what you're saying is, I'm glad I stopped it right there so you're looking straight at me. So what you're saying is crime don't happen in gated communities. Is that what you're trying to tell to your audience? That no one has ever gotten SA'd, no one has ever gotten beat up, no one has ever gotten robbed, no one has ever been unalived in a gated community. Crime is crime. Most crimes are done by proximity. Most criminals do not leave within a 2 to 3 mile radius of their crime. That's why they're so easy to track. So I guarantee you this, the best thing that they could do was to take young Karmelo Anthony to an undisclosed location where only his lawyers and the powers that need to be know where he is at. He's on bond, so the powers that need to know already know where he's at. And so the only way that will be leaked is by one of those officials.
But of course, his people have spent this whole thing to make Karmelo Anthony to become the victim. And that's the whole point, guys. That is the whole point. And it's kind of interesting now, guys, that after that press conference, Karmelo Anthony's people have went dark.
Okay, again, any two-bit lawyer, I'm glad I stopped it right there so you can look at me again, brother. Any two-bit lawyer will tell you, do not talk about your case in public. Mum's the word. And anyone that knows me will say this, my brother, will tell you that I say this all the time. The worst thing you can do to somebody is ignore them. Because they have to figure out what you're talking about. They have to figure out what you're mad at. They have to figure out what possibly they could have done wrong. Quiet as it's kept, that's the best thing that the Anthony family could have done. Now, I will say this. I do believe that they were quiet until the rumors came out about them buying a new house and buying a new car with the GoFundMe money. So I cannot blame that family for coming out and addressing that rumor. She did what she needed to do. They did what they needed to do. Now, mum's the word.
We haven't heard anything from them. And when did that press conference actually happen? Probably about, almost a week ago at this point? Yeah, they went ghost. I don't know where he is. Nobody knows where he is. I'm pretty sure that the judge actually knows who he is. And that woke judge, man, let him go by lowering his bail. Now, I don't believe she's actually going to be.
Okay, my brother, I don't know a whole lot about you because, as I said, you just happen to come across my algorithms. But I will venture to say that you and that judge that released Karmelo Anthony on bail, because, again, all the pertinent experts said that the bail was increasingly too high, especially for a first-time offender, a youth offender that has no record, that shows no indication that he would be a flight risk. Now, let me ask you this, my man. I just happened to look at the news in Chicago last weekend and this weekend past. Well, 2 weekends ago and this weekend. Couple people shot. Couple people essayed. When I say couple, of course, there's more. And a couple of people unalived. The majority of those couple of people that I'm referring to were young teenagers. Unfortunately, they met their demise at the hands of another teenager. Why isn't that in the news? Since this is not a racial thing. If it was about kids killing kids, or kids being where they're not supposed to be, why isn't the kids that killed someone in Alabama, or the kids that murdered someone in Georgia, or the kids that murdered someone in New York, or the kids that murdered another kid in Texas, why isn't that all over the news? Because it's happening on both sides, black and white. Why is this particular case so embedded in the American talking points right now? Whether you want to admit it or not, brother, it's because a black kid killed a white kid.
Be the judge in the trial, though. Okay? Don't know who that's going to be. The trial's going to happen unless Karmelo Anthony actually decides to strike a plea deal. And if I'm actually his attorney, I'm striking a plea deal. Because this ain't looking good whatsoever. Self-defense? Nah. He brought a knife to a.
Again, folks, every pertinent lawyer that I have listened to, and believe me, I've listened to a lot of them, all of them is, again, in agreement that this was self-defense. This was a case of self-defense. And now I implore all of you folks to go back and listen to the brother. The brother's statement says, it says a whole lot, whether you want to listen to him or not. The brother's statement says that one of the two twins was the initial aggressor. Now, let me say this. A lot of folks will say, well, he was the aggressor because he said, touch me again and see what finds out. The word again holds a lot of weight, doesn't it? Why? Because that was already an act of aggression from one of the twins. And I heard some other content creators say Texas is not a stand your ground state, that you have a duty to retreat. No, you do not. Not in Texas, you do not. And even in Florida, that's how George Zimmerman pretty much got off, folks, because he did not have a duty to retreat, even though we clearly heard the 911 dispatcher tell him not to follow Trayvon Martin.
Track meet, and you stab Austin Metcalf in the heart, and you claim it's self-defense. Not fine. However, guys, Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff Metcalf, remember, he got swatted. Yes, Karmelo Anthony supporters, and really, guys, they're probably not even really supporters. They're just people that just hate white people. They swatted his father's home. Well, luckily, he wasn't there.
Well, again, my man, to say that is to say that the only people that you say that swatted the Metcalf father's house were black people. That's basically what you're saying. Because what you're saying is it had to be somebody that don't like white people. So are you saying that there's white folks that don't like other white folks? This is why I said I disagree with a lot of things that you said here. So far, I haven't found anything to agree with you about other than this is a tragedy. There's nothing about what you said here that would hold water in any court. The mere fact that you are already saying that Karmelo Anthony's guilty and that he should take a plea deal, the mere fact that you said that he should not be under some kind of undisclosed location, those are absolutely ludicrous things to say, especially given the climate of the United States of America these days. Because we know if this was the 50s, we know if this was the 60s, there would be absolutely no way that a lynch mob would not have been up to that kid's house already.
And you get your home swatted when you want police to kill you. Guns blazing, that's what they want. And now we find this out, guys. Check this out. Austin Metcalf's family in Frisco targeted by third swatting call. I only knew about the one. I missed the second one. And now it happened for a third time. It definitely seems like Austin Metcalf's father is the one that definitely needs the protection. Because these deranged idiots, man.
You know what I notice about a lot of these particular folks that support the Metcalf side of things here, folks. They always bring up salacious news, and then they try to hide it from you. This is straight probably from one of the Fox folks. This is probably from one of those type of channels that would put this up there. You don't see CBS across the top of this. You don't see ABC across the top of this. You don't see NBC across the top of this. But if you look real close, you can see Fox.
Want this father who lost his son at the hands of Karmelo Anthony, they want him dead. This is the only reason why you actually SWAT people. And I hope they actually find out who did it and prosecute these fools to the fullest extent of the law.
Okay, so my man,
says here,
my man, so that
the family of 17-year-old Austin.
Wait. So my man, so what if it's white folks? Should they be prosecuted to the full extent of the law? What if it's some white folks that did this? Should they be prosecuted also? Or is it only the black folks that should be prosecuted for swatting? Because that's not a term that you'll hear black folks use. I can tell you that right now. That is not a term that black folks use. It was new to me until about a week ago. But I'll let you continue.
Metcalf, who was fatally stabbed at a Frisco track meet, was targeted by yet another swatting call, police confirmed. Wow. Frisco police confirmed that officers responded to a call about a gunshot on Monday at a home linked to the Metcalf family. But when officers got there, they determined there was no shooting. Instead, Frisco police called it a swatting incident, which is when a false report is made to law enforcement to prompt an emergency response. No, it's actually done to get a person killed.
Even though what you're reading is put there by some so-called expert that you're going to use to refute what someone just says. You try to refute the very news that you're trying to use to bolster your point, which does not make sense to me. You heard what they said. It is used for some kind of, but you said no, it is used to kill somebody. That's what you just said. That's why I said this earlier. I went and I actually looked up the definition, and in nowhere in what you just said does it say it is used as a tool to kill somebody. So let's back up just a little bit so we can hear exactly what you said there, my man. Just a tiny bit.
To prompt an emergency response. No, it's actually done.
It is to do what? To prompt an emergency response. That means hurry up and get here. Some bad shit about to happen. And the police are going to go there. So what you're saying, my man, is the police have no restraint once they get there. They're just going to run up at the house with the guns a-blazing because someone said there was a gunshot. They're just going to go there shooting up the house because the 911 said, hey, we got a possible sniper. We got a possible active shooter. They don't even do that at a damn school. Or do we need to go back and look at the footage of the Uvalde mass shooting? I wonder who did that.
To get a person killed. Yeah. This is third time the Metcalfs have been subjected to swatting. There were incidents on April 8th and April 17th that happened at each of Metcalf's parents' homes. And I believe that Austin Metcalf's father is actually divorced from Austin Metcalf's mother. So they hit up.
Now see, here's the thing which baffles me about a lot of you folks on both sides of this. If Karmelo Anthony would have come from a broken home, that would be the headline. But because the Metcalfs are separated or divorced, nobody mentioned the fact that this is a single mama yet. Y'all use the word divorce or they're not together. Not now one of you podcasters that are on the side of Austin Metcalf and their family have referred to this mama as a single mama, a single baby mama yet. Not one of you. And that's basically what she is, because the same definition that y'all try to put on black women as single baby mamas is the same definition that white women fall under too. The daddy ain't in the house. The daddy wasn't there to raise him. So that is a single mama. Like I say, folks, for every single mama, there's a single daddy.
His father's home and then his mother's home. And now they did it again. Which home actually got hit up this time? I'm not really sure. But this is crazy, man. I mean, this track meet, it turned into this at this point. I never thought, folks, a sporting event would turn into this. I mean, a young kid lost his life at the hands of an idiot. Because that idiot was in the wrong place. He wasn't supposed to be under it.
Well, again, that's another one of those myths that you folks like you put out, bro. He had every right to be there. He had every right to be where he wants to be. Main reason, because this is a free country. Main reason is because it was a school-sanctioned event. And that's what we're going to get to the comments, because your comments baffle me by some of the things that I've read there. He had every right to be there. Now, was it, I will say this, was it in bad judgment that he went under the rival tent? Yeah, that was bad judgment. But that doesn't make him wrong. That doesn't mean that he loses his right because of a judgment call. Discretion be the better part of valor. That's what I teach mine. So to say that he wasn't there, he wasn't supposed to be there, he had every right to be there. Now, this is the part that doesn't make sense to me, along with a lot of you content creators. Why is it okay for a 17-year-old to check another 17-year-old? Why is it okay for a 17-year-old to come over from another part of an event instead of going to get one of those school officials, a referee, a coach, a moderator, somebody, an adult, to say, hey, this kid over there is in the wrong section. Could you please ask him to move? Why is Austin and Hunter not held to the standard of who are you to tell anyone what to do? You're 17 years old. You have no power. You have no right to tell someone where they can and cannot be. Because let's face this, folks. If that was a grown man, do you think those twins would have ran up on him? Do you think those twins would have walked over and say, "Hey, mister, you can't be here," if that was a grown man? No, chances are they would not have. If that was you, brother, or if that was me, brother, I can guarantee you, I will bet the fourth to say that they would have not approached you or I. So as a 17-year-old, instead of going to get the proper authorities, you took it upon yourself to tell somebody to leave. You have that much power.
He was asked to leave. He didn't leave. And he decided to pull out a knife. And why you actually have a knife at a track meet, I have no idea. Pull out the knife and stabs a 17-year-old kid in the heart. And you actually got loonies out there that actually do believe that Karmelo Anthony acted in self-defense, when clearly he did.
Again, every action has a reaction. Now, again, not condoning what young Anthony did. And again, my condolences go out to the Metcalf family for the loss of their child. No parent wants to outlive their child. But let's face it, in this climate, in today's climate, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with me, we've seen the black mile walking. We've seen, hey, let me see your ID, and then you get unloaded on in front of your girlfriend and your child. We've seen you get shot 7 times in the back. We've seen of some kid driving from Chicago ending up supposedly unaliving himself under a tree. We've seen instances of the 2 twins that supposedly went up in the North Georgia mountains and unalived themselves. Those are not fictional characters that I'm talking about. All that's actual and factual. So as a young teenager that's probably seen his parents being accosted, that's probably heard of his grandparents being accosted, that's probably heard of his great-grandparents being accosted, uncles, aunts, because we do pass that down to our children as well, whether you know it or not. We do pass the fact of, hey, you might encounter this growing up black in the United States of America. So be mindful of it. Be woke.
Did not. And I find it interesting, guys, because when Austin Metcalf's father showed up to that press conference, and apparently he actually wanted to pray, I believe, with Karmelo Anthony's parents.
Now let me ask you, brother, how do you know? Was you there? And how do you know that this man, Jeff Metcalf, is a guy that's praying? And let me just say this: suppose Jeff Metcalf was like you and took up that racist guy's invitation to come stand with me, brother. Would that be okay with you? Why haven't you not talked about Jeff Metcalf telling that white racist guy that invited him to his platform, and the phone call that ensued, the conversation that ensued after that? Why aren't you speaking of that instead of trying to invoke this? Let's see how stupid we are about supporting Karmelo Anthony. I'm not supporting Karmelo Anthony. I'm supporting the system that we're supposed to be under, and that's called innocent until proven guilty. But from what I'm hearing here, brother, not you.
That was the reason why he wanted to be there. Guess what? Those people, man, they don't like you. They don't like you, man. These people see you as the enemy. And you got to realize, man, they just don't like you at all.
They who?
All they want is for their son not to go to prison.
Okay, so you just answered my question. See, a lot of those, as they call them, ad hominems that you're using, they don't fly over a lot of folks' head because we know exactly what you're saying. You're trying to use a dog whistle and blow it as low as you possibly can think. And when you say things like they and them, we know you're talking about you. We know you're referring to black people don't like. And believe it or not, they're good brother, young brother. Not all black people dislike white folks. Not all white folks dislike black people. Now, if we listen to you, that's what you're saying, that they don't like him. No, I think it was in poor taste for Jeff Metcalf to show up at that particular event. If he wanted to pray with the family, he could have had his folks get in touch with his folks, and that's something that they could have done privately. If he wanted to have a press conference to talk about the demise of his son or the case or whatever, he could have done that without being in front of the Anthony family. There's a whole lot of ways that he could have handled that situation. So yes, it was deflect and distraction. That's just what Jeff Metcalf was doing. Hopefully, let's give him something to talk about. What other reason could you be there? What other reason would you want to be there? Because you knew Jeff Metcalf, by them asking you to leave, that it was going to cause some public outcry. But I'm going to give Jeff Metcalf credit for this. That when approached by a known racist, but when approached by a white supremacist, and they extended the hand of racism out to him, Jeff Metcalf, at least in the public eye, clearly disavowed it. Forcefully disavowed it. So my brother, I'll ask you, why ain't you talking about that?
And if that's going to make you the enemy, hey, they're good with that. Even though you had nothing to do with your son getting killed.
Nor did the Karmelo Anthony family. His mother didn't have anything to do with it. His brother didn't have anything to do with it. His sister didn't have anything to do with it. His father didn't have anything to do with it. But the father left his job. They had to leave their home. The daughter was getting threats, so she can't go to school. Again, there's no winners here, bro. And as you notice, I'm not leaning on the side of Karmelo Anthony. I'm just leaning on the side of right. Because if that was my son, yes, I would want him to be safe regardless. I would want him to go through the legal process. If my son is found guilty, then he's found guilty. But it won't be at the hands of a lynch mob. It won't be at the hands of a white supremacist that they play judge, jury, and executioner. That won't happen. But if left up to you, it would. Because you said earlier, there's no safer place than a gated community. Out your own mouth, brother.
Their kid acted irresponsibly. Their kid is facing decades in prison. And I do believe, folks, he's going to go to prison for decades. I mean, on plea.
Again, we're not here to. It's not what you believe. It's that's what the trial is for, bro. The coach of the Philadelphia Eagles at the time. That's why we play the game. You play the game to win. They are who they are. That's why we played them. Herman Edwards, and I forgot the other coach's name. And unfortunately, this is not a game. This is real life scenario here. But bringing it back to that, that's why they have trials, to find out whether Karmelo Anthony is innocent or guilty. To find out whether he, in this case, was it an act of self-defense or was it an act of negligent homicide. There's no premeditation in this. As much as you folks want to say it is, there's nothing premeditated. He was not breaking the law by having a knife in his backpack. Because believe me, if you have intents on hurting someone, the knife is not going to be in your backpack. And you're not going to give folks warning before you take action. Premeditated means that he literally would have had to, I'm taking this knife to school. Keeping in mind now, he didn't know either of the Metcalf twins. So he had to single out one of the Metcalf twins, say, this is the guy that I'm going to go poke today. This is the guy that I'm going to go agitate today, that hopefully I say something to him that's so mad, that it makes him so mad that he approaches me so I can scream self-defense. Poke him once. So I can scream self-defense. Any two-bit lawyer will tell you that shit won't hold up in court, my man. Not just me.
If he actually does get a plea, I don't know. How many years you actually think he's going to get on a plea? 20? I mean, he's Karmelo Anthony's what, 17? That means he'll be out of prison when he's 27 if he pleads.
You don't do math too well. If he's 17, if you're 20, that's 37, bro. Or not unless you say he's gonna get 10 years off for good behavior or something like that. But again, you're putting this kid in jail long before he even has a trial. Long before he even has a trial. But you're just about through here.
Now, the only thing that he can't get is the death penalty, and he can't get life without parole. He can get life with parole, and something's telling me that's probably what he's going to get if it actually goes.
And what would tell you that? First of all, we all know there's different stages of murder, folks. And what you're trying to say what this kid could possibly be charged with, I don't know. I'm only speculating here. Notice how I use the word speculate. At best, they're probably going to get him with negligent homicide. If it does go to trial, at best, they're going to get him with negligent homicide. And we all know that carries 7 to 10 years. You do 4 or 5 good behavior, and you're out.
It's a trial. If he gets life with parole, let's say after possibility of parole after 30 years or so, that's a long time. That's a long time, man. I'm not a lawyer, but it ain't looking good for him, man.
Well,
but
the mere fact that you said that you're not a lawyer, bro, this should say it all. You're not a lawyer. So why would you even speak in that you are such? You're acting like that you read all the law books and all this other stuff that you know for a fact that what Karmelo Anthony is going to be charged with, and you know for a fact that he's going to be possibly facing 20 years, or he's not going to get this. You're not a lawyer, nor am I. That's why I don't speculate like this. That's why I don't put numbers up in front of anyone. That's why I don't say this is what he could be charged with, because I don't know if he's even charged at all. But one thing's for sure, folks, what I'll say is because of the amount of, dare I say, publicity that this trial is getting, we all will have to say one thing's for sure, that it's going to be hard to find someone on a jury that's not aware of this trial. Just with any other high-profile case, with the OJ case, with the Menendez brothers, with all these other high-profile cases, it's hard to find someone that don't know something about this trial, that has an opinion, because we all have a preconceived notion about who's right already, just based on, dare I use the word, skin color. Some of us are there just supporting Karmelo Anthony just because of his skin color. And that's fact. Some folks are detractors of Karmelo Anthony just because of his skin color. How dare this black kid stab a white kid? And some black folks are saying, well, shit. We told y'all to stop fucking around. You fucked around and found out. That's the history of a lot of us folks. Whether y'all want to say it or not, that's the history of a lot of us. Fucking around and finding out. This ain't my grandparents. This is not my daddy's generation. This is not my generation. There's a whole new generation of young black Americans out there now. Whole new generation. In some cases, they don't even allow us to use good morning no more.
Kids out there that are going around and swatting the Metcalf family's homes. This needs to stop. This needs to stop. Let the process play out now, man.
Okay.
Karmelo Anthony, he dug his own grave, man. He did this.
Okay.
He did this to himself.
Again, here you go, brother.
And don't defend his actions, man. Some of you people don't even care.
No, there's no one defending his actions, my man. But again, you said let the process play out, but how many times have you said the kid is guilty?
All you see is, let's make this a racial issue. White kid gets stabbed, he's bad. Black kid stabs a white kid, and he shouldn't have done it. And you guys like, we don't care. We're just here to support Karmelo Anthony because he's black.
Well,
that's really the thing.
Again, dare I say that you're right in that incident? Again, there's some things that you say that I agree with. Some people are supporting Karmelo Anthony just because he is black. They're not trying to look at the facts. They're not trying to look at anything else. They're just for one reason only. He's black. And I'm going to support my folks. Good, bad, or indifferent. So that's a fair point.
Billy right there, guys. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks
for watching the show. Be sure to...
All right, folks. Well, so let's just do just that. Let me pause this for a minute, and let's scroll down to the comments, okay? Hold on just a second. Okay there, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, there's my comments. I have to be honest. I totally disagree with just about everything you said here. I hope you don't mind me reviewing your stream on my channel. Not enough space here to type why I have a different viewpoint. No disrespect intended, my man, but wow. Some things you said were outlandish. Well, I hope you now know what I mean when I say outlandish, because I think I put it out. Here we go right here. Here's another one. Question. How does the local police department not know to have a memo taped to the 911 that's saying if there's some caller about Metcalf address, trace the call, go arrest them, the caller? Can someone explain how you can fool the police these times? That's ridiculous. That's my point there. Truth surge. But the advent of technology is pretty hard, folks. To call the 911 dispatcher. Remember, there's a time if you used to call 911 from your house and hung up, they called you back. You got 8 replies on that, folks. What deranged people to instigate swatting of a bereaved family? Again, KLA 631. How do you know who it is? This is so sad and crazy. How dare anyone try to kill the family that lost a son? See, that's what I say, my man. Words matter. It's a video going around with a young group of thugs with weapons saying that they want to take Hunter out. This has gotten out of hand. God, please watch over Metcalf family. Hold you in your arms and protect them. Here you go, brother. See, these are the kind of comments that you invoke. Nowhere in the news have we heard this other than your channel. This is the first time I've heard this. But it got 40 likes. Let's go look at some of the replies of it, shall we? Who is Hunter? But you following it. But this is somebody that follows you, my man. Austin's brother. Speak life, speak life. Lord have mercy. Sounds like what Triple K would say. but do the black version. I thought it wasn't about race, my man. Here's your supporters invoking race. I think the family is the one who needs to be hiding. Is not the Anthonys. They need protection. Who? Got 51 thumbs up on the Frisco Police Department needs to do better, along with a whole lot of other police departments. 911 should be able to track those calls. This is BS. I agree with you. This is bullshit. 911. Hello? I bet if I pick up my phone right now and call 911 and hang up, they're calling me back. Here's what this is one of the classics here. Anthony wasn't even supposed to be at the meet. He skipped school to be there. He skipped school to be there. This straight A student, whatever great GPA that he had, this kid that was active in track and sports and all this other, decided on this particular day that he was going to skip school. Now look at the reply. The story I heard first was that he had been suspended from school. 11 thumbs up, 4 thumbs up. See, full of disinformation, man, after they listen to you. They feel comfortable putting out their idea of what they believe is right. What I would like to know is why this isn't being covered by the national news. Where the hell you been? Is it because black man stabbed young white man, roles reversed? Would it only be on every other station at this time? I said that earlier. If this were just 2 black kids, would it be in the news? If this was 2 white kids, would it be in the news? No. The reason why it's in the news, folks, and I don't know why you say it's not in the mainstream news, because it is. It's everywhere. Mainstream news has a whole lot more, not to take any less thing away from this, but the mainstream news has a whole lot more things they need to be reporting on other than this. Are the police dumb? They can confirm who the house is. I'm glad someone picked up on that, because you said it earlier. You said that house is connected to the Austin family. You didn't say it was the Austin family house. You said it was houses that was connected to them. What does that mean, brother? The father has been swatted 3 times. Again, this seems to me that's the main question. Can the cops trace where the swatting calls came from? Of course they can. And here's another one. The result will depend on how intimidated the judge and the jury feel. Now, you don't know how far or close to right you are. Because, again, by all the experts, what the experts say is, depending on the makeup of the jury, is how Karmelo Anthony's fate will be decided. If it's a predominantly white jury, especially if it's a predominantly white jury of white women, if this goes to trial, Karmelo Anthony would more likely be found guilty of something. If this is a predominantly black jury with predominant black women on it, more than likely, Karmelo Anthony will be acquitted. That's not me saying that. That's the experts. Go look at my last video that I talked about this. But anyway, folks, I just wanted you folks to see some of the comments. I didn't want to take up too much of your time. Again, this one here, I'm pretty sure that the swatting is somehow also self-defense. How? I'm pretty sure that the swatting is somehow also self-defense. How? But you got 14 people that thumbed that up, my man. You got 14 people that agreed with that. Out of the 140 comments that you've gotten so far, there's 14 people that may have either left a comment or not have left a comment that agreed with just what they said. I'm pretty sure that all the swatting is somehow also self-defense. I don't know how. When you said folks come to kill people. It's been an hour since I posted this comment. No thumbs up. Mr. Metcalf has shown nothing but grace and class. What's wrong with these sick people? Got 26 thumbs up. And this is the last comment. They said this about Austin. They said this about the Metcalfs, the mother, father, and the brother. People of goodwill, folks, will not ask you to get up and leave from under a tent when it's raining. People of goodwill would not walk up to you and have nasty grams coming out their mouth towards you. I'm not here to defend Karmelo Anthony, and I'm sure not here to defend Austin Metcalf. Again, this is a tragedy. It really is. But sir, kind sir, if you're going to be a podcaster, now let me pause this just 1 second before I close it up. If you're going to be a podcaster, sir, with 324K subscribers, 5.8K videos, it is incumbent upon you to put up correct information, not disinformation. Again, I've never seen your channel before. There it is. What I'm going to do is, because I want to monitor, I don't mean monitor in the wrong way, but I'm interested in your commentary. So I'm going to subscribe to you. As you folks can see that, I just subscribed to you. You say you have news, entertainment, and sports. Kudos to you for the amount of subscribers that you have. But on this particular case, my brother, I think you're 100% off. So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so very much for listening. Please, if you don't mind, like, share, and subscribe. I gotta go. I'll catch you on the flip side. My next video that I'll probably do about that is if young Karmelo Anthony goes to trial, then that's when I'll speak on this again. Again, there's nothing else that anyone can put into this other than speculation. So anytime we talk about this now, we're all speculating what's going to happen. We don't know. There's all kind of witnesses out there. And have you folks found it quite interesting now that this has been quite enough time to where at least we should have gotten some kind of feedback by now of what's going on with this case? Justice denied. The longer we wait to find out exactly what happened that day, the more people can put out false narratives. The longer we wait to figure out why Karmelo Anthony did what he did, the longer folks can come with these different scenarios of what's right and what's wrong. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Again, like, share, and subscribe, but I'm out here.